The government is trying our entire generation.
Tribal drums are saying nothing.
Hey, what's up? This is Cut Chemist, and we're here with Guitar Center right here at Serato HQ in Los Angeles, and we're about to demonstrate the new Technics SL1200 MK7. I thought it would be fun if we went through some of the basic scratches I learned when I first started DJing, when I was listening to records like Rocket by Herbie Hancock with Grand Mixer DXT, rudimentary patterns made famous by people like Jazzy Jeff, Cash Money, and then if I'm lucky enough to make it to some, new patterns that people are doing today, we'll get there. So let's start with Rocket, which is the first record I heard with DST on the mix. So he was using the Change the Beat Fresh sound. Basically what you would call a stab. Also with a baby scratch and a stab combo. So that's about 1983, and then moving on up to about, I think it was like 85, 86, where things really started to heat up. Using the same fresh sound, you started to get things like chirps and transforms. Shout out Jazzy Jeff, shout out Cash Money, and countless other DJs perfecting that scratch and introducing it to the world. As you had things like DMC championships and ITFs and things like that, things got really bananas with people like Qbert and DJ Flair introducing his DJ Flair scratch, Orbits, Crabs, the list goes on, and that brings us into Techniques into the 2000s. Let's break some of them down. So using the same fresh scratch, let's see if we can do an orbit. And then moving on up to crabs. The crab scratch is something where you utilize all 5 fingers, and basically it knocks, it's like a really fast transform because you're not just using, you're using your pinky, your next finger, your middle finger, and your index finger, and your thumb to knock the fader back to off. So it's mid to late 90s is when these techniques started to hit the ground running. And thanks to the Thud Rumble camp for back then doing video tutorials so we can see it, because back in my day we had to hear it and guess what people were doing. So it was very forward thinking for people like Qbert to actually show us. People were able to learn a lot quicker and a lot more accurately. One thing that I always like to do is something called a twiddle, I think it is, which is a 2-finger crab orbit combo. And then something I also like to do is an orbit crab combo, so it creates kind of an endless circular crab, which is what Magic Mike called it about a week ago in Atlanta when I was showing him. That's just a few of the basics. To wrap up, I thought it would be cool to show you a little bit of a combo of every scratch over one of my beats. And this is something I always like to warm up to before gigs.